So now you can set the head aside and we're going to make the body. So for the body, we're going to start with the magic circle. So you're going to take your gray colored yarn, drape it across your 4 fingers, use your thumb to stabilize, wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers, and then hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. And you should have your 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. Go under those 2 loops, bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through the loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Then take your forefinger and thumb, hold the base of the 6 single crochet. You have these 2 loops on the opposite side. Go ahead and close one of them. If it doesn't close, let go and pull on the other loop, but this one's closing. Then take that loose yarn end and pull on that. Then you're just going to turn your work so that we're working in rounds. And now you're going to make 2 single crochet into every stitch around until you have a total of 12 stitches in the round. So 2 single crochet in every stitch around, just like we did for the head, until you have a total of 12 stitches in the round, and then come back. Now, after you finish 12 stitches in the round, you can take and turn your work over if you need to, and just pull on that loose yarn end on the back, and then that will close up the center of your magic circle. Then we're going to make the increase rounds. So for those of you that know how to make the increase rounds, it's going to be we're going to increase all the way up to 1 single crochet into 4 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, just like we did for the head. So I'm going to get everyone started. So for the first increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 2 single crochet into the next stitch, repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Then just move your yarn marker up, and then you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, repeating that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Then move the yarn marker up, and the next increase round is 1 single crochet into 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, repeating that pattern all the way around. And then the last increase round is 1 single crochet into 4 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, repeating that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So now you should have a total of 36 stitches in the round after that last increase round. And now we're not going to be making any more increase rounds. So we're not going to be adding any stitches to the round. You're going to maintain the stitch count. Go ahead and move the yarn marker up to where you left off. And now you're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around for 8 rounds. So 8 rounds of only 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So now after you finish your 8 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch, you can go ahead and add the craft stuffing. And now we're going to go ahead and get ready to close the body. So you can take your yarn marker, place it right where you left off, and for the first decrease round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 4 stitches, and then you're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. So you take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through all 3 loops for a single crochet 2 stitches together. And then you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker, 1 single crochet into 4 stitches, and then single crochet 2 stitches together. Repeat that pattern all the way around. So now you should have 30 total stitches in the round, and you can continue to add craft stuffing as needed as you close. So now just move the yarn marker up, and for the next decrease round you're going to make 1 single crochet into 3 stitches, and then single crochet 2 stitches together. And then you're just going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker, 1 single crochet into 3 stitches, and then single crochet 2 stitches together, repeating that pattern all the way around. So now you can see how it's gradually closing more and more, and I went ahead and added a little more craft stuffing in mine. Then for the next decrease round you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then single crochet 2 stitches together, repeating that pattern all the way around. Then you're going to take and move the yarn marker up and then make 1 single crochet into 1 stitch and then single crochet 2 stitches together, repeating that pattern all the way around. So now this is how mine looks like, and I finished adding my craft stuffing. You can go ahead and remove your yarn marker, and then you're just going to make single crochet 2 stitches together until the body is almost closed. So you just keep repeating single crochet 2 stitches together. And then when you're almost closed, you can go ahead and slip stitch close. So skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and then bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. And you're just going to continue slip stitching all the way around. Then one more should do it. And then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and just pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Okay, the sun felt good, but I'm going to have to block the sun. But this lighting is still good. So now you can bury your loose yarn end. So you just take your tapestry needle, put the loose yarn end on your tapestry needle, go right in where you finished off, and come out anywhere. And then just trim the loose yarn end. So now we're ready to sew the head to the body. So now you want to take your head and then just place it right onto the body. And then take your tapestry needle with the same colored yarn. Make sure that your head is centered on the center of the body. You don't want to sew it over to the side. You want it exactly centered. Then you can go from the back and take your tapestry needle and go into the body and then up into the head and out the head. And then make sure that you leave a little bit of a loose yarn end for tying a knot. Now if you come out of the head, you're going to want to go back into the head and out the body. And I'm going to come out right where I have my entry point because I'm going to tie a knot. So then you can take and tie a knot. Then you can position the head again, make sure it's centered. Then you're going to take your tapestry needle, go back into the body, up into the head, and out the head. And if you skip stitches, that's okay. This first round that we're making is basically just to center and secure the head on the body. So now, if you exit the head, you just go about a stitch over in the head and go down into the body and out the body. And that's how you're going to sew the head in place. So you're going to make multiple rounds, just securing the head to the body. So now I came out of the body, I'm going to go a stitch over in the body, up and out the head. Make sure you don't poke yourself. So keep repeating that until you have the head sewn onto the body. Now, once you're happy with how the head is sewn onto the body, then you're just going to take your loose yarn end and you want to go, or the end that you were sewing with, you want to go about a stitch over and come out right near where you tied the knot before, and then tie another knot. Then you just take your tapestry needle and you're going to go right where you tied your knot and come out anywhere on the body. And then that pulls your knot in and buries your loose yarn end. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this loose yarn end, and then you bury your other loose yarn end the same way. So now you have the body in place. Now we're going to make the fur that goes on the body. So you want to take your white colored yarn and you're going to drape it across your 4 fingers. Use your thumb to stabilize and then wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers and hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. Then take your crochet hook. I'm using my 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. Go under those 2 loops, bring up a loop. Yarn over, turn the hook upside down, go through the loop for your slip knot. Then you're going to place 6 single crochet into the magic circle, just like we've done before. Then go ahead and close the magic circle. And then turn your work, and then you're going to place 2 single crochet into every stitch around until you have a total of 12 stitches in the round, and then come back. So now you can take and close the magic circle if you need to. Then take your yarn marker, place it right where you left off, and we're going to be making 4 increase rounds in chronological order. So the first increase round is 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Then, just like we've done before, 1 single crochet into 2 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, repeating that pattern all the way around. Then 1 single crochet into 3 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, repeating that pattern all the way around. And then the last increase round is 1 single crochet into 4 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, repeating that pattern all the way around. So now you should have 36 stitches in the round. Then you're going to take and move your yarn marker up to where you left off. And this time you're only going to make 1 single crochet into 14 stitches. So you make 1 single crochet into the next stitch and 1 single crochet in each stitch for 14 stitches. So I have 2, 3. So go ahead, finish 1 single crochet into a total of 14 stitches and then come back. So now I have 1 single crochet into 14 stitches. Then go ahead and slip stitch into the next stitch So go into that next stitch, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then turn your work. So now you have the wrong side facing you, and you could tell you have the wrong side because it has the loose yarn end. And then you're going to make one single crochet into the next stitch, and then you're just going to make one single crochet in every stitch back across, and you should still have a stitch count of 14 when you reach the yarn marker. So now we're back to the yarn marker, and I have a total of 14 stitches. And how this is going to look, just so you know, is this will go on the bottom of your koala, and then the 14 stitches that we made, we're going to make a design that goes up the front for the front body fur of the koala. So we're going to be working in these 14 stitches for the rest of the rows. So now you're just going to chain one and turn your work. So that first chain one counts as your first stitch for this next row. So now we're going to work into the next stitch over, and you're going to make a double crochet into that next stitch. So you just yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through 2 loops. You have 2 loops remaining, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the 2 remaining loops for a double crochet. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the next stitch, and you're going to keep repeating this pattern, single crochet and then double crochet into the next stitch. One single crochet into the next stitch, one double crochet into the next stitch. So go ahead, keep repeating that pattern until you reach the end of the row, and you should still have 14 total stitches, counting that first chain one that you made. So now I finished with a double crochet, and I have 14 total stitches in the row. So if I end with a double crochet, I'm going to start with a chain 3 for the next row. If you end with a single crochet, then you start the next row with a chain 1. So since I ended with a double crochet, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn my work, and then that chain 3 counts as my first double crochet for the next row. So you want to put the same stitch as the previous row. So for my next stitch, it's a single crochet from the previous row. So I'm going to make a single crochet into the next stitch. And then the previous row had a double crochet, so I'm going to make a double crochet into the next stitch. And you're going to keep repeating the pattern all the way across, and it creates a beautiful cluster like, or cobblestone like stitch. And if you like this stitch, I made a baby blanket with it. It's called My Little Sweet Pea, and it's one of my favorite baby blankets. So you can find that video tutorial on my YouTube channel. So you just keep repeating that stitch, single crochet, double crochet, until you reach the end of the row. So I'm going to end this row with a single crochet just to show you what it would look like. So now I ended with a single crochet, so I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and then I had a double crochet in the previous stitch, so I'm going to make a double crochet into the next stitch. And then just keep repeating single crochet, double crochet all the way across. And then it creates this gorgeous, this is the right side. You can tell because the loose yarn end is on the wrong side. And it creates a really beautiful cobblestone-like stitch. So go ahead, keep repeating this pattern. And this will be your last row. So I completed, let's see how many rows. Sometimes it's hard to tell. So this is my third row, and this will be my last row. So now you want to, after you finish that last row, you want to just kind of line up the work. And you want to line it up so that you have approximately, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows to the neck. And you want to center it. So you want to make sure it's centered and lined up with the bottom of the body. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make a chain around the body and then slip stitch to the opposite side. So to make a chain, you're just going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for 1, 2, 3, 4. So go ahead, finish your chain all the way around to the opposite side and then come back and I'll show you how long my chain was. So mine is a chain of 22, and you want to wrap the chain around to the opposite side. And then we're going to make a slip stitch into the top stitch on the opposite side. So I'm going to go right into that top stitch, and then I'm going to make a slip stitch. So you yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and then bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to make a round, and you could place a yarn marker here if it helps, but you can kind of tell what side that you're on to. But I'm just going to leave a yarn marker here to make it a little bit easier. So I made a chain of 1 that counts as a single crochet for this next round. So now you're going to make a double crochet into the next stitch. I'm trying to see if I can line up the single crochets and the double crochets. So I have a single crochet in the next stitch on the body, so I'm going to make a single crochet into that stitch, and then a double crochet into the next stitch. And then I'm going to alternate that pattern. Single crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. I'm going to work this with you up until the chain. So you can see how I work around the chain that goes around the body. And you don't have to worry about this bottom portion. We're going to secure it later. And the reason why I do it this way is because we're going to get smaller and smaller as we get it around the neck. So now I reached the chain. Now when you reach the chain, you're just going to make the same stitch. So mine is a single crochet for the next stitch, a double crochet for the next stitch, so I'm working right into the chain. Single crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. So go ahead, finish repeating this pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker, and then come back. So now I'm back to the yarn marker, and you can see how you have the fur going around, and we're going to be repositioning it after we're finished, so don't worry about that. The only thing you want to make sure of is that you don't twist this back portion around the back of the body. So make sure that doesn't twist. And now we're going to make a decrease round. So you can move your yarn marker up if you want. And then in the next stitch, you're going to make one single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So one single crochet into the next 2 stitches. And then you're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. So one single crochet into 2 stitches, and then single crochet 2 stitches together. And keep repeating that pattern all the way around back to your yarn marker. Then when you reach the yarn marker again, we're going to make one more decrease round and then we'll be finished. So go ahead and move the yarn marker up to where we left off, and for this decrease round you're going to make one single crochet into 1 stitch and then single crochet 2 stitches together, and then just repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. One single crochet into 1 stitch, then single crochet 2 stitches together. Then you can remove your yarn marker and then just slip stitch into the next stitch over, and then go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew the white portion in place. So now you have the fur lined up right up against the neck. It works out really nice. Then you can kind of just pull a little bit on the bottom portion, and then make sure that it's centered. You want to make sure it's centered. And try to get that bottom portion to go up towards the back of the body. And then you could take your tapestry needle, and then I sew the portion around the neck in place first. So after you have it centered the way you want it, then you just take your tapestry needle and then just sew around the top portion around the neck, securing that top portion in place. And then after you finish securing the top portion, then you can take and go down towards the bottom portion and then just sew all around the border of the white portion. And this is how mine looks after I'm finished. So now we're ready to make the arms and the legs. So now I'm going to show you how to make the hand. So with the hand you have 2 thumbs, and you want to make sure that when you're making the thumbs, the black side of the arm or the hand faces towards the body. So it'll go like this. And then you have the 2 thumbs on top. So I'm going to show you how to make the other hand. And the feet are going to be made the same way, except for with the feet you'll only have 1 thumb on top. So the first thing you want to do is get your black colored yarn, and then you're going to fold it over on itself to form a loop. Take your crochet hook, and I'm using my 3.75mm crochet hook. go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb. Then you're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for your slip knot. Go ahead and cinch that knot down, cinch the loop around your crochet hook, and then you're going to make a chain of 5. So yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you're going to single crochet back. So you're going to take your crochet hook, go into the second chain from the hook, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, and then you're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch back across, and that should give you a stitch count of 4. Then you're going to chain 1, turn your work. That chain 1 counts as your first single crochet for the next row. And you're going to make a single crochet into the next stitch for your second stitch, a single crochet into the next stitch for your third, next stitch for your fourth. And we're going to make 2 more rows. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work, 1 single crochet into the next stitch for your second stitch, next stitch for your third, and next stitch for your fourth single crochet for this row. Then we're going to make 1 more row. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work, single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then a single crochet in the last stitch. Then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and just pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. So now we're going to make 1 more of these in the gray color. So I'm going to make it again just in case you had trouble following along with the black colored yarn. So you're going to take your gray colored yarn and we're going to make the same thing. So you're going to fold the work over on itself to form a loop. Take your crochet hook, go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb. Yarn over, turn the hook upside down, go through the loop for a slip knot. Go ahead and cinch that knot down, cinch the loop around your crochet hook. Then you're going to make a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. And then a single crochet in each stitch back across, and then that will give you a stitch count of 4. Then you're going to chain 1, turn your work, make a single crochet into the next stitch for your second stitch, next stitch for your third, and next stitch for your fourth. And then we're going to make 2 more rows. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work, single crochet into the next stitch for your second single crochet, next stitch for your third single crochet, and next stitch for your fourth. And then we're going to make 1 more row. And then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and just pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. So now you have your 2 pieces. So you're going to take and line up the loose yarn ends together and then just tie a knot. Then you're going to join, you have the black colored yarn on top of the gray. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, go into that top right corner, grab a stitch of both the black and the gray. We're going to crochet the two pieces together. So you're going to bring in your gray colored yarn, bring up a loop, and then tie a knot. And then just leave your loose yarn ends because we're going to use that just to stuff inside of the opening of the hand or the foot. Then you're going to chain one. Make sure that you have it lined up, and we're going to crochet across the side, across the top, and across the other side. You're going to leave the bottom open. So now you're just going to evenly space one single crochet down both sides. And then before you turn to go across the top, you want to place two single crochet into the same stitch. And then just turn your work, go into the next stitch, and make two single crochet into the same stitch. Then you want to tuck those loose yarn ends towards the center, and then you're going to go across the top, making a single crochet in each stitch. And then in the next stitch, I'm going to make two single crochet into the same stitch because it's around the corner. And then turn, tuck those loose yarn ends towards the center. And then you're going to go into the next stitch and make two single crochet into the same stitch. Then you can make one single crochet into each stitch down the opposite side. Now you can take and place your loose yarn ends into the center, and you can trim the loose yarn ends if you need to, but you want all of your loose yarn ends into the hand or the foot. Mine fit in there. Then we're going to start working on the arm. So the first round around the arm is going to have approximately 11 stitches. So try to get 11 stitches. The first stitch you're going to chain one and then go into the next stitch. Try not to grab the loose yarn ends. So here's my second. Third, and I'm not crocheting the two pieces together. Remember, we're making the arm opening, so just the black portion. And here's the fourth and the fifth. Now I'm on the gray portion. Sixth single crochet, 7, 8, and you could put 2 into the next 2 stitches, 9, actually 1 here because that's 9, so 2 in the last stitch to get 11, 10, 11. So now you should have 11 stitches in the round. And now you want to bring in your loose yarn end or yarn to use as a yarn marker, and we're going to make an increase round. So we should all have 11 stitches in the round. So now for our increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches. Don't miss that first chain 1 that you made. So there's 1, 2, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and then that should give you 1 remaining stitch, and then you just make 1 single crochet into the remaining stitch, and then that should give you a stitch count of 13 for that round. Now you're going to move your yarn marker up, and then we're going to make another increase round. So you're going to make 1 single crochet, and again it's going to be the same, 1 single crochet into 2 stitches. So again we're repeating 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And we're going to repeat that pattern. 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, 2 single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, 2 single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and then that will leave you with 1 remaining stitch. Just make 1 single crochet in that remaining stitch, and you should have a stitch count of 17. Now take and move the yarn marker up, and you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around for 8 rounds. So 8 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So after you finish the 8 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch, you can go ahead, remove the yarn marker, and then place craft stuffing into the arm or foot. Then take your yarn marker, place it right where you left off, and then for the first decrease round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then single crochet 2 stitches together. You're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker, 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then single crochet 2 stitches together, repeating that pattern all the way around. You should have 1 stitch remaining. Go ahead and just make a single crochet into that stitch, and you can add more craft stuffing as needed. Then just move your yarn marker up, and then you're going to make 1 single crochet into 1 stitch, and then single crochet 2 stitches together, repeating that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Then just remove your yarn marker, and then you're just going to single crochet 2 stitches together until you're almost closed. Then you can slip stitch close. Just skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, yarn over, and bring the yarn through both loops. And just keep slip stitching around until it's closed. Then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and just pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. And then just get your tapestry needle and then bury that loose yarn end. So now we're going to make the fingers. So again, it's very important that you know what it is exactly you're making. So this is going to be a hand, and so I need to imagine it on the other side of the body. So that means that I need 2 of the thumbs on top right here. So don't put them on the bottom, because the black portions will be facing in towards the body. So I know I need my fingers on top. So I'm going to take, and this is the hand, so I'm going to make 2 thumbs. So I'm going to make, I'll go ahead and make one over here. So I'm going to join 1 thumb here and then 1 thumb there. So I'm going to bring up a loop. Make sure you leave enough of a loose yarn end for burying into your work, and then you can go ahead and tie a knot. And for the thumbs, I chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I make a single crochet into the second chain from the hook, and then 1 single crochet in each stitch back towards the hand. So there's my second, third, and fourth. Then you can slip stitch into the hand, the stitch where you first joined your yarn. So just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you can go into the next stitch over, and I'm going behind my loose yarn end too. Bring up a loop, chain 1, or make a single crochet, I mean. Then go ahead and chain 4, because that single crochet counts as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook, and then 1 single crochet in each stitch. Don't forget to single crochet into the first single crochet stitch. Then you can slip stitch into the stitch where you joined. Then you can finish off. Just yarn over and then pull enough yarn through to tie a knot and bury your loose yarn in. So I have my loose yarn in right there. I'm going to tie a knot. And then I'm going to take my tapestry needle and go in right where I tied a knot, and then come out anywhere. And then you can see how you have the 2 thumbs on top. I'm going to go ahead and bury my other loose yarn end. And you can take and bury the loose yarn end up into the finger too if you want. And then I have the 2 fingers, and they're curling inwards, which is what I want. And then you're just going to repeat the same process for the 3 fingers on top. So I started on the end. Bring up a loop. And now for the fingers, I chain 6 instead of 5 like I did for the thumbs. And then when you have the feet, you would only make 1 thumb. So they're made exactly the same way, except you don't have this thumb. You only have the 1 on the feet. So 2 thumbs for the hands, and then 1 thumb for the feet, but they're made the exact same way. Then for the fingers, I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Single crochet into the second chain from the hook. 1 single crochet in each stitch. Then you can slip stitch into the same stitch that you joined. And then you can slip stitch into the next stitch on the hand. And then chain 6. And then make a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. And 1 single crochet in every stitch back down towards the hand or the foot for the second finger or toe on the feet. I'm just going to call them all fingers when they're up here so you don't confuse them with the thumb or the toe. Then slip stitch back in the stitch that you joined. Then you want to slip stitch into the end stitch and make the last finger. So it's that easy. Now slip stitch where I joined. Then you can finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. And then you have your 3 fingers and the thumbs. And like I said, the feet are made the exact same way. The only difference is you only want 1 thumb on the feet. Then you can bury your loose yarn ends with your tapestry needle. So now you should have your hands, which have the 2 thumbs that will face up because the black portion will go towards the body. And then here's the back side of the hand. And then your other hand should have the 2 thumbs facing up as well. And you can see my adorable little fingers on here. So those are ready to go on. And then I also finished the feet. So you could see that with the feet, I only put 1 thumb. And it's on top. Same thing with the other foot. Thumb is on top. And they just look adorable. So this one, sometimes you'll get a little black show through. You can cover that if you want to with some gray yarn. Just use your tapestry needle and the gray colored yarn. But I'm just going to leave it. It just adds some character to it. And then the feet would go on this way with the thumb facing up. So now we're ready to attach the arms and the feet. So we're going to attach the arms first. So go ahead and get your arms. So now you want to get your same colored yarn on your upholstery needle or your tapestry needle. And go ahead and get your arm first. And we're going to go through the back of the arm. Make sure that the thumbs are facing up. And here's the top of the arm. I'm going to go down about 2 rounds, and then I'm going to go right through the center to the opposite side at the same level, and then just bring the yarn through. Now you want to have enough yarn on your needle to go through the arms and the body twice. Now you want to line up the arm with the body, and usually I'll line it up just under the fur and in line with the ear, just like for the bigger koala, if you make the bigger koala. So I know I'm going to go in about right there. So then you just take your upholstery needle and you just go in and then out the opposite side at the same level. So you want to be at the same level and then come out. And I leave about 1 to 2 inches between the arm and the body. Then you can take the other hand and arm, and you want to make sure that the thumbs are up and the black portion is towards the body. And then you're just going to go about 2 rounds down from the top and in the center, and then out on the opposite side at the same level. So 2 rounds down. Then you just bring your yarn through. Again, you're 2 inches, about 2 inches from the body. Then you want to go back in about a stitch, either a stitch over or under. I'm going to go under here, so a stitch down, and then come out on the opposite side about a stitch down from where I entered. Now make sure that you don't cross your yarn or go through the yarn strands, because we're going to be pulling on these yarn strands to cinch the arms against the body. So then I'm going to go just under, a stitch under where I exited the body, and then go through the body and exit about a stitch down on the opposite side. Then you can go through the opposite arm. So on the opposite arm, I'm going to go about a stitch over here to go back through, a stitch under where I first entered. And then I'm going to repeat the whole process 1 more time. So I'm going to go a stitch away and then go back through and repeat the whole process 1 more time. So now you can see how I went through twice. I have the 4 strands of yarn between the arms and the body. Then you're just going to take and pull on the yarn strands to cinch the arms against the body. Now if you meet any resistance, let go, don't keep pulling. Pull on 1 yarn strand at a time, and then that cinches the arms against the body. And you can position, make sure that there's no yarn loops between the body and the arms, and this is cinched nicely. And then you can have movable arms. So once you have it cinched how you like it, then you can take and tie a knot. And then you're going to repeat the whole process with the legs. So now if I have excess yarn, what I'll do is just trim it and leave enough for burying into your work. Then just take your tapestry needle, put it onto the loose yarn end, and then you're just going to go right where you tied your knot, and then just come out anywhere on the opposite side. Then you can take and trim the loose yarn end. Then you have your cute little arms that move up and down. And then you have, make sure that your thumbs are up. And now we're ready to attach the legs. So once you have the yarn through the leg, and remember the thumb on the foot needs to be up on top, and then the black portion needs to be towards the body. Then you're just going to line up, make sure that your little baby koala can sit. So you want the leg to be flush with the bottom of the body. Then you also want to line up the dimples with the hand. So you want the dimples to fall in line. So you can tell it's going to fall about right here is where you're going to want to go in. So you take your upholstery needle or your tapestry needle, and remember that you're going to need a 4-stitch area because you're going to go through with 4 strands of yarn. You're going to go through twice again. So then once you know where you're going to go in, then you can repeat the whole thing just like you did for the arms. So now after you've gone through 4 times or twice with 4 yarn strands, then you can take and pull the yarn strands, cinching the legs against the body, and you can even have the legs sitting and then just pull on the yarn strands and tie a knot when you're happy with the position. So you can see how mine looks. Then you can take and bury the loose yarn ends. Then you have your adorable little koala bear. The toes are up. You have 1 on the feet, each foot, and then 2 on each hand.